taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, Super Bowls, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
Here we are, boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. All right, I'll stop yelling in the mic. Children of all ages. Oh, man. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. The Edgewood Warriors coming out in droves. Had to throw that one out there for Sammy. Yes. Anywho, what a great weekend of football we had. We had the privilege this weekend of getting hooked up by Edgewood. The Warriors, Coach Butchko, the AD. I can't remember the AD's name.
Steve Gray.
Yeah. I can't remember Lakeside. I can't remember Edgewood. Anyway, Steve Cray hooking us up in a press box this weekend, giving us the Wi-Fi. Had a little technical difficulties, but he got his dude right up there and got us hooked up. What a great weekend of football it was.
Oh, my gosh. That game, that was fun. That was fun to watch.
That was intense, man.
Yeah.
I can tell you what.
To watch
I got there a little late.
The Warriors come out there.
I didn't miss anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm reading some of these comments because they have not stopped on the right-hand side over there.
Listen,
they have not stopped. So
BPB's got fans, cuz.
Yep.
The boys got fans,
hey,
ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, I don't want to I'm pretty sure this is his dad, right? That just did BPP with, I don't know, with the black heart and that thing. Did you quit smoking? Because you said you would if you put up more than 3.
Hey, he put 5 of them things out there.
Yeah, I'm just putting it out there, Brian. You said you would. Sorry, didn't mean to put you on blast like that, but I did. Anywho, that was your weekend after Friday. Did he? That's what I'm talking about, baby.
So that's actually a 6. That's a score number 6 for Brian Bisbee Jr. Gets his dad to quit smoking.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, BPB, the name is catching on because I'm seeing
congratulations
BPB by
that.
everyone over there.
Listen, when I see BPB in red and silver, that's going to be awesome. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Like Bart Scott. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
All right, boys. How was your weekend real quick before we dive right on into the show?
It's pretty good. Got to watch some football, at least on Friday, because the team I watched on Sunday didn't play it. So, I got that going for me.
Great news. The Browns lost.
I'll tell you what, man. Weekend was going great. Got my lady a new vehicle. Got to the Edgewood game. Awesome. Saturday, watched some college football. I'm going to tell you what. Division 7 FCS put up a better game than the Cleveland Browns did. God in heaven. Like I told Ryan and Sam, after that, I'm just a Vikings fan now. I don't even care. I got to leave OBJ, though.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad.
I'm putting my money on the Washington Generals before I do on the Browns at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
Little known fact, I think it's the brother's head coach of Lakeside. His son is the long snapper for the Pitt Panthers, who they did put it on. What is that? Austin P. They put it on Austin P. So, however you say it, but yeah. So shout out to those guys too.
Ooh, very nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So yes, Owen, please. My son is directly next to me, and mind you guys, that's
David,
why he is
absolutely
butt
phenomenal.
naked right now too. There is nothing on
great.
this dude. Yeah. Anyways,
My
don't go.
kid's asleep.
Go
My kid's asleep. That's all I gotta say.
upstairs. Anyway, sorry. All right. Let me get on with the show here. Go. Anyways, sorry guys. Let's share the screen. We're going to get into the topic I don't want to talk about anymore, but we always do anyways. Quick Corona-19 update. I don't know. Someone changed something on me. Anyways, let me share my screen. Oh, boy. Making things difficult.
It almost feels like a job at this point.
Yeah, so let's see. 1,079 cases. That would have been yesterday night. Four more deaths in the state of Ohio. I'm sorry. 7 more cases in Ashtabula County. No deaths. So good news on the home front. Bad news is that number did spike, this 1,079. That's not what we want to see. But hopefully it stays there and we keep things rolling the way they are.
Let's keep it. I'd like to see no cases and no deaths, but seven's a start.
Yeah.
Listen, the only spike I give a damn about right now is the quarterback spiking it to stop the clock. Let's get into the stuff that matters, boys. Huge.
Right. All right.
Tremendous.
So first game, obviously, right before we bring Mr. Bisbee on, Edgewood defeats GV. We're going to roll into that. I do have a quick video clip of some highlights that I chopped up. Took me 2 hours. Sammy somehow did his at 45 minutes. I don't believe him. It is what it is. Let me make sure.
Better. That's just the way the world works.
It is. But anyways, let me run the video clip because I'm kind of excited about it. All right. Hope everybody enjoyed.
Listen, I gotta tell you before we go any further, my favorite part of that video. My favorite part of that video is one more for the road, boys.
You know that's right. You know that's right. Oh, so yeah, what a great game. Honestly, there was a lot more highlights than that. But simply put, I mean, I try to limit it a little bit. We could have probably had a solid 10 to 15 minutes of highlights out of that game. So yes, you're right, Noah. There was a pick six. There was all kinds of stuff. So I do apologize if I didn't get everything. But again, we would have been staying in here watching that for the next 10 minutes. So
yeah,
but yeah, what a great game.
Edgewood, you guys had about 57 highlights. We couldn't do a 40-minute highlight reel.
Yeah, that was gonna be tough.
Yeah, we
guys
could do
too
that.
good.
So
Yeah.
but yeah, with that being said, are we getting? I was just going to say maybe we bring him on, but it says his device is disconnected. So, but
right,
yeah,
well,
so no matter which, when he comes back. So this week's Player of the Week for 441 Goal is Mr. BPB, Brian Bisbee Jr. Very exciting to watch that man play this week. So, I think we might have him.
He's coming in.
Let's see. Give it a moment.
There he
is. All right. So without further ado, yeah. Welcome to the show, Mr. BPB. I'm not even calling you by your first name. I like BPB. BPB
in the building.
In the building. What's going on, bud?
We're having a little trouble hearing him.
Oh, yeah. One second.
There we go.
Oh, okay. He's getting right. No worries. While he's getting right, we may as well go through some of his stats that game.
Yep.
So he goes for 163 yards, I believe, was the final number.
Ridiculous. Yeah, it was like 163, 165.
Yeah, somewhere over 160 yards rushing in this game, and the big number, the game changer, is 5 touchdowns. Count them, boys. 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, that was. I mean, like I said earlier, I would dream of just scoring a touchdown in high school football. That man scored 5 last night.
Listen, I played high school football every single year, including junior high. I don't think I scored 5 in all that time.
Nope. Oh, yeah, it's a huge shout out. He's coming back. We'll see what happens here. But huge shout out to him. He put up some amazing numbers. And a huge shout out to the Edgewood Warriors themselves. They all played really well together. Let's see if we can get him back on.
Here you are. There he is. You on that Chromebook there, buddy?
I'm using my phone.
All right, so we can hear, we can see him.
Just speaking of statistics, that one game ties him for first for most rushing touchdowns in the county right now. 5 touchdowns in one game. That ties him for first with Charlie Taylor out of Geneva over a 3-game period. So very impressive. Brian Bisbee, Wiggles, what we call you here is BPB. How's it going, big fella?
Good. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
Hey, man, heck yeah.
So what did it feel like? Did you know that you scored 5, or were you just kind of running to run?
I mean, everyone kept reminding me I scored 5, but I was just running, I guess.
Yeah. I just remember we were covering the game, and your dad, which he said he quit smoking. We won't put him on blast anymore. Right? We don't need to know for sure. That's between you and him. But all I remember him saying, if he scores more than 3 tonight, he'll quit smoking, and he said he did. So kudos to you, man, helping your dad out a little bit too. So, but yeah, you got all. What's that?
He bought a vape to quit smoking.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, like I said, man, that's score number 6 for you, man.
Yes. So I'm trying to read. You have all kinds of comments coming in that comment section over there.
So what was the biggest factor on Friday night? For getting 5 touchdowns. So your offensive line obviously played very well. You guys have the biggest kid I've seen in quite a long time, named Troy Peterson, out there, not opening up lanes, but opening up highways. But outside of that, what helps you score 5 touchdowns? Because I got news for you. I don't care if you're going against the Pee Wee Football League. It's hard to get 5 touchdowns.
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
you. Okay. Everyone thinks that we're just a passing team, so they go in, we throw it down. We throw it down the field, and then it opens. We have a bunch of weapons, so it just opens the run game.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think that do you think that that's a benefit to you and to your game because teams think, hey, Edgewood's just going to throw, Butchko's just going to draw up these throwing plays. We don't really got to pay attention to the running back except if he's running like a wheel route or a flat. So do you think that because you're viewed as a pass-heavy team, that's going to open up lanes for you down the road to really make a mark in the running game, like for Edgewood.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I tell you what, one of my favorite. I love watching you go in motion because I know there's always an opportunity for you to get the ball. It's always 2 wide receivers right, 2 to the left, and all of a sudden you see Bisbee go left or right in motion, and you just don't know what's going to happen because you don't know whether Mr. Winchell, right? Am I saying that right? He's a quarterback.
Yeah.
So I'm terrible with names if you guys haven't figured that one out by now. But Winchell steps back, and you don't know if he's going to dump it down to you, dump it over to Harris. You just don't know what's going to happen, or he's simply just going to hand the ball off to you when you're not going in motion. That's what makes the Warriors so exciting to watch on a week-to-week basis. But so I wanted to bring up, before we let you go here in a little bit, but we'll see here. I don't know. I see him in the ceiling. Can you hear us, Brian?
Looks like he's moving.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, as long as you can hear us, we'll deal with the video part
I'm having
later.
difficulties with-
But I got to ask while we got you. So I was told at the beginning of the year by your coach that you got a special pair of shoes. So if you can kind of elaborate on why you did it and, kind of tell us, everybody, and we've seen it a couple times on the right-hand side over there, but what you put on the side and why you put it on the side.
Looks like he's froze up again.
Froze up again there. Yeah.
That was a great question too. I'm so disappointed right now. We'll give him a minute here and see if we can get him back.
Yeah, one of the things while he's getting his connection together, one of the things he does really, really well, that's a small thing people don't really pay too much attention to, is when he is in motion, he runs at the same speed with the same tenacity, whether he's getting a pass or not. So, there's no tell. There's no tell with that Edgewood offense. It could be, they could be just dumping off to him. They could be hitting big number 11 downfield. They could be hitting, Christian Curry downfield. They could be hitting Jake Bell, who people tend to forget about until he catches the ball and rattles off 9 yards and a big hit at the end.
Yeah.
So, that Edgewood offense is really, really something to watch.
Edgewood just has weapons everywhere. And it's the absolute fact of the matter, like you just said, Sam. Weapons everywhere. Jacob Bell, Matt Anik coming up and contributing for him too. Like you said, Christian Curry. You had Cunningham, Isaiah. I mean, that's 6 guys we've rattled off, and we didn't even talk about their quarterback, Zach Winchell. That's 7 guys that are playmakers on that offense, not to mention their defense that just comes up and makes play after play. It's crazy, man. Butchko's blessed with a great team.
All right, we got Bisbee back. That's who people came to see. Bisbee, talk about the shoes, my man.
So I was going all out senior year, and last year my nickname was Wiggle, so I customized them, put Wiggle on them, and we got new jerseys, so I had to match them with the sweet gray.
That's dope. As someone who appreciates awesome kicks, man, that's pretty awesome.
How'd you get the nickname Wiggle?
So Coach Cooper, last year, he was our defensive coach, and I just wiggled around people. I would do this little side juke, and it worked. So he just made it up.
Wiggle it is.
Wiggle it is, yeah. Hell yeah.
We saw plenty of that on Friday because you certainly wiggled your way through those defenders, because while there were big lanes for you to run, you broke quite a few tackles too.
Yeah, and also I want to give a little more kudos to Mr. Bisbee as well. He showed up next day, Saturday morning, at the JV game, supporting his players, helping pick up the water bottles, getting the field cleaned up. So that's a huge testament to just kind of what you're doing over there with those Warriors, the younger generation coming up, kind of showing them the path. So congratulations on that too.
Setting the tone, man.
Thank you.
Setting a tone.
I just want to be a good leader, and hopefully they learn from it.
Absolutely.
So
you're doing a heck of a job already, because I know that there was a comment on here. I don't know if it's your little brother or anybody else, but somebody's already said that they're aspiring to be you when they become a senior. So that's a heck of a, you're a stand-up young man. You separate yourself not only on the field but off the field. So you deserve kudos for that as well. I've always seen you. You are very respectful in person. I've never heard anybody say a bad thing about you. That says a lot about you. Truly, you should be proud of that. 5 touchdowns is fantastic, and it's a fun Friday night. But the man you're becoming is better. So,
heck yeah.
Yep, and keep going down that, keep trending that way, man. So before we let you go, you got anything good you want to say? Anyone you want to shout out?
I want to say thank you to my linemen and then my receivers, and more important, like Jacob Bell, he's the most underrated player out there, and whenever I run, I just follow him, and he hits everyone so hard every time.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Brian, I can't wait to see you guys line up against Conneaut this week. I think it's going to be one of the best matches of the week. I wish you guys the best of luck. I'm sure you're going to have a repeat performance, maybe not 5, but I guarantee you're going to get into that end zone at least a couple times. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. And also, before you leave, what's your T-shirt size? Did we lose him?
All right, so we're gonna let him go. We'll grab it. We'll send him a message via Facebook or I don't know. We connect to him.
Either him or his dad.
Yeah. So one way or another, thanks again, Brian, for joining us. We want to get you off before 9. Thank you again. Congratulations on being 440 on goals player of the week. Can't wait to see the highlights coming up.
One more time.
Oh, let's see. He showed back up.
He's always showing up.
There he is.
We'll get.
All right.
There's Mr. Bisbee. And I think he's gone again. All right. Oh, maybe not.
No, he's there. All right. Brian, what's your T-shirt size, big man?
Medium.
Medium. All right. You got one coming for you, my friend. Thanks for being on the show tonight, Brian.
Yeah. Good luck next week against Conneaut, Brian.
Thank you. I appreciate having me here.
BPB. Yeah.
Have a good one, brother. Thank you.
No problem, buddy. We'll talk to you later. I kicked him from the studio. He's out. So, I got to – Peters, right? That's the lineman, Troy?
No, Peterson.
Peterson.
Number
Troy,
55 for those Edgewood Warriors.
And so that video clip that we played earlier, I got to let you guys know that he laid a smack on that GV running back to get that ball loose. That didn't just happen on accident. He cracked him. That video shows no justice of it. But shout out to him and the rest of the Warriors. Isaiah. I
don't know. When they played Geneva, I don't know if they woke up a sleeping dragon or what. He had a little bit of a tough game that game.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like a completely different human being against Grand Valley. And again, I'm not going to get into this team's better than this team, better than this team. These are all, at the end of the day, these are all high school kids, okay? And they're playing their best against each other. But he was on a different level. I mean, when he was laying blocks, nobody was coming anywhere near anybody. On defense, I mean, he's a big kid. They're running him both ways.
Yep.
He's on defense laying absolute smackers. We're in the press box, and you can hear every time that kid lays the wood. I felt bad for number 8 for Grand Valley. I the name escapes me. It's not Nathan Boyarski, but he ran kind of like a bootleg out. And I think he thought he was going to be, free and clear, and he ran into what looked like a wall in number 55.
Yep.
He got tackled by just running into him. It was a heck of a game.
I actually wondered if the kid was still alive after he hit him, man. I was like, oh my God, is he still alive? I was legitimately concerned for the kid's health.
I do want to bring up, there was one play in that game that I still, to this day, am scratching my head over. And I think
Oh,
you guys
God.
know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. I wish
Oh,
we
yeah.
had the clip, but we couldn't. We really could not find it.
The 22-man scrum that happened at the 2-yard line.
Oh, God.
When football went rugby for about 10 seconds there.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know, the way this game went, Edgewood comes out, they're on fire. They're playing like they've got their hair on fire. Score, score, score. Well, then Grand Valley comes back and they score. They get a long touchdown. They come back, they get a stop. Or no, Edgewood scores again. So at this time, they're up 3 touchdowns. Well, Grand Valley's bringing the ball downfield, and they allowed this rugby-style long, extra long play for what had to be, I don't know, what would you guys say, 30 seconds, 45 seconds?
Oh, it was legit about 35 seconds. No
The
joke.
entire
Wait,
team just
Well,
pushing
no, it
back.
wasn't. So the entire play did last 35 to 40 seconds. They're on the 2-yard line trying to push back and forth to get in the end zone for a solid 10 seconds of that.
Okay.
And it was that. And Butchko kind of, when I talked to him, we had the interview after the game. We had asked him about that, and he said he counted 10 seconds. And I myself couldn't believe that the rest didn't call it dead after about 4. I mean,
Yeah,
it was a
I've never
standing
seen that.
still match for like a solid 10 seconds, and then Edgewood ends up ripping the ball out somehow, and then the refs give the
Is it
ball to the
Bisbee
Grand
that ends
Valley,
up with the ball?
Warriors.
Wasn't it Bisbee that ended up with the ball?
That I don't know, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know. Yeah.
I feel like it was Bisbee that ended up with the ball. I know Coach Winchell's watching here. Tell me if that was Bisbee or not. Who ends up getting that ball after the rugby scrum?
Right. I mean,
I want to say it was Jacob Bell.
Was it Jake? It was one of those
I
two
want to say it was because I remember saying to you, Sam, in the press box, well, that kid's doing everything. You know what I mean? But I didn't think it was Bisbee though. But I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised at this point.
Sure.
I mean, Jesus.
It was Donovan. Oh, it was Donovan Sisicki. Donovan Sisicki.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Donovan
Thank you. Oh, and look at Jacob Bell's on the
Jacob
show,
Bell.
man. Yeah, keep grinding, Mr. Bell, man. You got a lot of potential, man. You just keep
Heck
going
yeah.
at it, buddy. Let's see. But yeah, that was probably one of the wildest plays. Don't get me wrong. I know we're playing high school football and nothing's going to be perfect, but as a ref, yeah, you got to stop it. Yeah, you kind of got to stop. But, I mean, it is what it is. The play got called the way it got called. Unfortunately, the play, and good for both teams in the same aspect because guess what? They didn't stop playing until they heard the whistle. You're always taught that. Do not stop playing until you hear the whistle. So,
Correct, man.
all right, what are we getting into next?
So the next game we're going to talk about is the Lakeside
Harvey game?
Harvey game.
Yeah.
So Lakeside and Harvey get into another very, very competitive game that ends up coming to where the win comes in the fourth quarter again.
Yep.
This year, though, Harvey is the recipient of the win. We got a couple highlights put together for that game as well. Let's go ahead and roll those now.
mean,
a
that
lot
was
of highlights.
game. Yeah, one thing that I don't know if anyone's seen in there. I do believe at halftime it was a 6-point game. I don't maybe tied. I can't remember what it was. It was a tight game.
It was a 6. Yeah, it was a 6-point game all the way into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, yeah. So it was a tight game the whole way.
In the fourth quarter, Harvey ends up outscoring Lakeside 8-0. So they get a late score. But let's talk a little bit about the stats in this game.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, Lakeside, I have all over on my side here, they put up 317 yards rushing. I think 249 of them came from Jay-Sean Sanders.
Jay-Sean Sanders, the new, I'm telling you, that kid, he reminds me of Josh Cooper, the way he runs. He's a short, stout back, but he makes great cuts. He breaks tackles. He finds lanes. Every week he seems to make some big plays. And because of his hard work in that game, so Big Play Bisbee scores 5 touchdowns, but that 250-yard outing that he has puts him as this week's area rushing leader.
Yeah.
So he is the area rushing leader with a grand total of 376 yards on 72 attempts with 3 rushing touchdowns. And here's the real kicker, guys: 0 fumbles.
Yeah.
Yeah, no fumbles.
Yeah. I mean, he's averaging over 100 yards a game.
It blows my mind he has no fumbles because the kid doesn't wear gloves, man. I don't see gloves on him. He runs barehanded. That's crazy because in today's game, everyone's wearing gloves. The kicker's wearing gloves to get a better grip on the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a testament to his ability, really.
Yeah, and it was obviously in a game where they needed him to step up.
Yeah,
because the passing yards total in that game is about 74 yards. Siebenek goes 4 for 15, so he definitely has a tough night. But on the plus side of that, only 1 interception.
Yeah.
Which saying only any interceptions is not great, but Lakeside struggled with turning over the ball. This is the first game of the season where the turnover battle is tied because they throw an interception and Harvey has a fumble. So there is no turnover deficit here.
Yeah.
Correct.
One game, I think the season opener they played, I think they had 4 turnovers in that game, maybe 5. Yeah. So, it's good to see. I'm sure Buzz Edwards kind of put a bug in a few kids' ears out there to say, enough's enough. So,
it seemed like everybody who touched the ball in that game, who was running, did well because, we already said Jay-Sean Sanders with an outstanding game of 34 attempts for 249 yards, 2 touchdowns with a long of 50. But Alec Raffa.
Yep.
Raffa. 9 attempts for 79 yards and a touchdown, with his long being a 26-yard touchdown.
Yep.
The kid and this is a kid who's starting on defense too. And that's one of the things that's going on at Lakeside is their best athletes are playing both ways, which is common around here, but it gets tiring. Now they are starting to get some depth in there. The recent addition of Sean Allgood is going to be able to lighten the load on some of the other guys, maybe like Savion, Brandon Ford, Chris Steele. These guys, Chris Steele, by the way, is responsible for that scoop and score. That scoop and score against Harvey. So these guys get a little bit, of rest because you have some more talent to spread throughout the team.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, Buzz, it hasn't shown in the win column yet, but Buzz's players are progressing weekly, and guys like Steele, who really weren't as involved in week 1 when we covered Lakeside, really are finding ways to contribute on all sides of the ball. I mean, Steele's listed as primarily as a receiver, but now he's contributing on defense in a big way. Like you said, Sam, without him, that scoop and score doesn't happen.
That's right. And then, and Sean Allgood, getting acquainted to this offense, probably newer than anybody, leads the team in the reception category in that game. 3 receptions for 60 yards. I challenge anybody to start a job and be ready to go that quickly.
Hey, and I've said it before, too, the past couple weeks. Lakeside can run 0-6 this year. It doesn't matter. One of the things that all these kids have this year that no one else has ever been promised while playing high school football is a playoff berth. I know it's a little bit of a different year. I've said this from the beginning also. Lakeside is probably the most talented team in Ashtabula County with all the playmakers they have on that squad, and there's no knock to any other team. But my opinion is everyone that they have gives them the most talent, and I think once they put it together, I think you may see a playoff run with them. It's going to be tough, and I know the 0-3 record doesn't suggest that, but I have my opinion, and I'm going to keep it. Tell you that.
Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and talk about this week's the first game of the week that we're going to stream.
Yep.
Which is going to be the Lakeside Dragons versus the Geneva Eagles.
Yes, that will be over at the Spire Institute.
Yeah, we're going to be live at the Spire this week.
And
we'll be live
Thursday night, by the way, guys.
Yeah, that is a Thursday night game. We will be streaming that game for you live right here on 440 and Goal as the Lakeside Dragons take on the Geneva Eagles. The Geneva Eagles are coming off of another big win.
Yep. Geneva Eagles defeated the West Geauga. What is their name again? I know I've asked this. West
Geauga, they're the Wolverines.
Wolverines.
That's why I never root for them to win ever.
Yeah, so the West Geauga Wolverines who took down Lakeside and who else was it? West G beat Lakeside and another local team. Conneaut. So yeah, it was good to see Geneva go out there and they won 28-14, if I recall right.
Yeah, so that's an interesting game right there as well.
They bottled up Trey Zimmerman.
Yeah, they bottled up Trey Zimmerman, but West G bottled up Geneva as well.
Yeah. 0-0 going to half, right?
Halftime is 0-0. They scored 28 points in the second half, with 3 of those touchdowns going to Charlie Taylor. Charlie the Mack Truck.
Mack Truck Taylor, man.
Yeah, he gets 3 rushing touchdowns. Not a whole lot of passing going on in that game. They rush for. I'm gonna pull that up real quick. Charlie Taylor rushes for I want to say 200 yards in this game. Hold on.
There's big Matt Pete coming in hot, boy.
You have to listen, Coach Pete. That is Ryan's favorite part of the game.
I love the halftime adjustment.
Every single week he talks about that.
Halftime adjustment
into halftime,
the game.
Favorite part.
You could be down by 21 going into half. You make the right adjustments, it don't matter.
Yeah, anyway, I can't find the individual stats on there, but I know for a fact that he's responsible for he's responsible for 3 of those touchdowns. Defensively, they hold that weird wishbone or flex bone or whatever the heck West Geauga is running. They hold that to 14 points. The biggest takeaway here for me is Geneva putting up 28 points in that half, in that second half. Because if you guys remember, my biggest drawback on this Geneva team, that is, by the way, one of only 2 teams in the county that's 3-0. We're going to talk about that second 3-0 team next. My biggest worry for Geneva was because when you run that wing T set, a lot of times you cannot score quickly. So, you almost seem to be in a time deficit, but that's not the case in Geneva.
Mm-mm.
For somehow, they've got a Ford F-150 in the background and Charlie Taylor, but then they've got this guy Brady Pete too, that when you're not paying attention to him, breaks out and gets out on you. And then you've got this quarterback that the moment you start overpaying attention to his wings and his running backs, will get out on you the other way.
Yeah, and he doesn't run, he glides.
Coach Pete, 21 for 165 for Taylor. They rushed for 330 yards as a team. That is ridiculous.
That's crazy, man.
Yep.
And this
Geneva, that's a shout out to the head coaches out there at Geneva, Chip and the boys out there. I mean, they got to put together, man. They really do. They came out and smacked Madison off the pole there with that late game win, and that was probably some halftime adjustments as well. And then coming out this week and beating West G, it was just, it was good to hear that. I know what Sammy said earlier this week, but we won't really talk about that on air. You know what I mean? But so, yeah, it's about what. Yeah, never mind. He didn't get it. It's fine. I thought he would.
It.
Yeah, total. Whew, that's something I would do, man. But yeah, I'm sorry. Geneva looked real good this week. It was good to see him come out and beat another. That was a division game too, if I recall right. Correct?
That is.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
So I can't wait to watch this week's game. I think a lot of people are going to look at this on a surface level and they're going to say, all right, you got Geneva, the big bad guys who are 3-0, kicking butt and taking names. And then and then you've got Lakeside who's struggling. This isn't going to be a competitive matchup. You think that if you want to.
Right.
But I promise you, Geneva's not overlooking Lakeside, and Lakeside's going to be ready to play here too, because this is a momentum shifter for Lakeside, and this is Geneva trying to keep their positive momentum going. So they've got big wins already early in the season, because that West G game is not as friendly as you think it is.
No,
it's not.
That Madison game is not friendly.
No, it's not.
Okay. Now you've got Lakeside who's struggling. They need to get over that hump. But so here you got Geneva versus Lakeside. Lakeside has very fast receivers. They've got very fast running backs. They've got an excellent defensive backfield. They've got very, very fast linebackers. Now, where does Geneva have the advantage? They've got big number 35 in the backfield. In front of big 35, they've got big number 10. Those two are going to work, and they're going to be bigger and stronger than most of the teams they're going to go against. The moment you start to over focus on them, they've got a wide array of guys, including Brady Pete, Cole Hamilton, the whole nine of guys that are going to come into play. So this is going to be a game won by coaching.
Right. I was going to say that, and like Matt Pete said, they put 910 rushing yards up in 3 games. That doesn't happen just without someone, handing the ball off. There's an offensive line out there in Geneva too.
Oh,
yeah.
Here's my question.
I got you, O-line. I know the skill position. I know the skill position kind of trumps everything else. But that skill position don't happen unless the O-line is doing their job. So
you're right, and I apologize for forgetting them, because you're right. Geneva has one of the best offensive lines I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Here's my question for you guys. My question is: has Geneva seen this season yet the combination of size and speed that they're going to see coming at them on the defensive line in a guy like Anthony Donahue? Has Geneva seen something like that yet?
So here's the thing. I'm going to say no, and here's why. Geneva has not seen this type of speed yet, because when they went against Edgewood, Isaiah Harris wasn't on the field.
Correct.
All right. Edgewood is very close athletically, I think, with Lakeside, but they were at half. They didn't have their big wide receiver, their big talented guy on either wide receiver or defense there. So if Lakeside comes into this game fully ready, you've got Siebenik has the option to throw to Jay-Sean Sanders, who just rushed for 250 yards. Brandon Ford, who, if you don't remember, is an electrifying wide receiver.
Yeah.
Sean Allgood, I don't think he's junior. It's just Sean Allgood, who is one of the most talented receiver you guys just don't know about. Not you, but some of the viewers just don't know about yet. But you'll know his name soon.
Yeah, he's progressively becoming better week to week.
Chris Steele, who's a do-it-all guy. And my guy, Savion Colbert.
Savion
Colbert. He's a utility knife.
The utility knife is Mr. Rafa. I hate to tell you that.
Well,
I'm not knocking the other guys
for you, but my utility knife is Savion Colbert on the wide receiving side and the defensive side. He's all over the field. Now, Alec Rafa is an absolutely phenomenal player.
Yeah,
he's very good on the defensive side, and he's very fast when he gets the ball.
Sure is.
Oh, Alec Rafa is a very, very unique combination of size, speed, and intellect. And it's just going to be awesome to see him. It's going to be awesome to see him develop.
What do the yards suggest, Sammy? You got the stats in front of you, don't you?
Well, yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Best wide receiver in the county.
So the best wide receiver.
That's from Mr. Winchell.
Yeah. Great question, by the way.
The best wide receiver in the county statistically is St. John's David DeSalvatore, who has 10 receptions for 302 yards. And for those of you who are math majors out there, that's an average of 30 yards a catch.
Yep. Now, that guy over at St. John, which, by the way, is our Friday night game of the week. We're covering 2 this week. That's St. John's homecoming game versus Wyndham. Am I saying that right, Sammy?
Yeah, Wyndham. You got it.
Wyndham. Okay. Yeah, so which is Wyndham. But, yeah, but 10 receptions. So my next question for you, Sammy, is going to be, who has the most receptions so far this year? Do we have that statistic?
Yeah, the most receptions on the year goes to another guy out in Jefferson, Trent Hodge, with 17 receptions for 160 yards.
Okay, right.
2 touchdowns to go along with that.
So that's, I don't think we can give a valid answer on that just yet. Week 3, maybe right before playoffs. Give it 2 weeks and Zay will be the leader. Hey, I believe you. I believe you.
I know what we're getting fished for there.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I'll be honest with you. Isaiah Harris is absolutely special. Anybody who's watched the show knows I'm a huge fan. I think he is going to be an absolute monster. Unfortunately, he had some injuries that have held him back right now. Once he is fully healthy, I don't know that and this you can not mark down, you can stamp and treat this as a challenge to anybody watching this game. If Isaiah Harris is healthy, there's not a defensive back in the county that's going to be able to stick with him.
No. Yeah, co-sign all day with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to be honest with you, and Frank, there's a lot of wide receivers out there that they're just men amongst boys compared to anybody else. But, yeah, let's see.
You know what it is? It's like back in the day, your best athletes they turn them into running backs.
Yep. Yep. It's a whole different ball. Everybody minus Geneva runs a spread offense or a witch flex turkey bone, whatever that's called, that crazy offense where you just don't know where anyone's at. Very few teams that we've covered 6 games now. I think I've seen the power I formation once, and it was first and goal. That was it. Genuinely. When 15 years ago, that's all you seen.
That's all you saw.
Power I with maybe, if you were lucky, you'd get one wide receiver out right or left.
Run, pass, punt. Run, pass, punt. That's what it used to be.
But now it's a whole, and it's so much more exciting. It really is. You just don't know what's going to happen on a week-to-week basis. It's a blast to watch high school football.
Yeah, you know what? The yards for passing right now, it's 100 yards difference between the guys, the 2 top guys. Zach Winchell. So Zach Winchell, I got to give him a big shot of credit here too, because of he has one tough game and then comes back and just throws that thing all over the yard. Now, Seth Thomas, on the other hand, is recovering from that tough game where he wasn't able to throw the ball as much as he wanted to. So I can't wait to watch those 2 teams because and I'll tell you another one right now for everybody to keep your eye on. There's a kid in Jefferson named Hitchcock.
Grant Hitchcock.
That is his passing numbers are going up and up and up and up and up every year. Brandon Hanna and Coach Rankin got that offense working. Now, the numbers are not going to show that against that Struthers team because, they end up losing that game 41-14.
41-14. Yeah.
41-14. I'm not sure what the heck happened during that whole game because I know for most of that game, it's a 1 to 2 touchdown game. So, going into
most of the game.
Yeah, going into halftime, they're down by 2 touchdowns. And then in the third quarter, they give up another touchdown. So it's a lot closer than it looked, but the biggest thing you got to look at here for Jefferson is they've got some things working. Grant Hitchcock goes, passes for 147 yards. Danny Bruckman, if you remember, I said Danny Bruckman, this was the game. He was going to put it together. He was going to come out. He was going to get it, get the ball rolling. Goes for 127 yards on the ground. It's his first game over 100 yards this year. So they got Danny Bruckman going.
Yeah. Let's see here. I wanted to get into a little bit of the games throughout the rest of the week. We've only covered about 3 so far.
Mhm.
So I wanted to talk about real quick the other 3-0 team in Asheville County.
Oh boy!
So that is going to be, I do believe it's
You know who that is? It's them. It's the
PV,
boys
baby.
from South County, the Pymatoonie Valley.
Yeah, there it is. So PV put it on. Put
Chalker.
it on Chalker this
Southern
week,
Chalker.
54-0. Yeah. So they go 3-0 on the season. I don't know who they play next. I know who they beat
So
week
this
1. Does anyone remember?
Huh? This week, who they play?
No, who did they beat week 1?
Wyndham.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Week one was Wyndham 32-0.
34-0. So 34-0 versus Wyndham, 66-0 versus St. John, 54-0 versus Chalker. 3 weeks, no touchdowns given up. PV is legit. You can overlook it if you want to, but the only thing you're going to be overlooking is your win because they're going to come out and get you.
So
You got
statistically,
this team right now. The coaches in the area need to be circling this. They need to be circling this because PV's got a couple guys that are super special.
and they're averaging 50 points a night and giving up nothing.
That's
So,
ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Now, they've got a heck of a matchup coming this week with Fairport Harding, who's also 3-0. So that's one of the game matchups of the week to watch. Fairport Harding 3-0, PV Harding 3-0. Whoever wins this game this week between those two has the juice.
Mhm.
They're going.
Yeah.
Oh, they're out.
PV goes 6-0. I would like to think that maybe they get to host a football game. Excuse me, a playoff game.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see how that. I don't know how that one's all going to work out anyways. I think that one's still all up in the air how they're going to do it. But
Well, yeah, I mean, they got a kid named Tyler Bean that is one of the better quarterbacks I've seen in quite a while. Statistically, he's killing it as well.
right.
He's 169. This is his year for the year. The kid's got 285 in the air, 169 on the ground, and this kid has not played 1 second half all year.
That's true.
Yeah.
So 1.5 football games, and he's got big numbers like that. And like you said before, Ryan, the size of PV's line is ridiculous.
Big boys out there. But let's real quick here. I do want to go through the rest of the games, announce the winners and losers of this week. So we've got Edgewood, Harvey, Geneva. We talked about that. PV over Chalker. Jefferson loses to Struthers 41-14. St. John takes a tough loss over. Loses to Matthews 34-12. Conneaut, that was a dogfight. It sounded like. I didn't get to see any highlights just yet. But 0-6, and Madison goes 0-3 with a 34-0 loss against Eastlake North.
Yeah, Madison's down this year, and that's unfortunate for them. But we're county guys, so getting back to the two games that you talked about there, Conneaut, that 6 points is scored in the first quarter, and there's not another score for the rest of that game.
Yeah.
The other thing that is crazy, absolutely insane, there are 0 passing yards from either team in that game.
With what did you say? 19 attempts between two.
20 attempts between both teams, 0 completions. But neither team. That's what's crazy. Neither team has any passing yards. So anytime you see a 6-0 game, you know it's a dog fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
the whole
absolutely.
way. The whole way.
Absolutely. And,
Yeah.
and I was
Actually,
going
I'm
up
gonna
to
try to
that
find
was my
video
pick of the week. If you guys remember, I picked Conneaut to go down there and punch him in the mouth.
You absolutely did. And listen, Warren JFK is undefeated with 2 big wins on their schedule already.
Yeah.
So Conneaut, you guys better not overlook them. Conneaut's legit. Statistically, they don't look great right now because they don't have a whole bunch of offense going. But anytime you're holding a team that is that quality of a team to 6 points,
Yep.
I mean, you guys know how quickly you can score a quick 6.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let's see here. I think.
And also, I just want to put out there for that for that Jefferson game. A lot closer than people thought. There was 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns for Struthers.
Yeah.
That's what opens the door wide open. Because offensively, when we compared the numbers, they were just about the same. Jefferson has 323 yards. Struthers only has 311. The difference in that game is Jefferson gets bit by the turnover bug. 4 turnovers in that game. That's the killer. That's the absolute killer. And then with Conneaut, total plays was 57 to 52. Conneaut only has 56 yards of offense. The rushing yards make the difference, obviously. So Warren JFK puts up 162 and Conneaut 56. So that's the game gets won, on the backs of running backs in that game.
Pound and ground football, man. That's what that was. But yeah, so real quick before we get out of here, so we're going to be covering again Lakeside at Geneva at Spire on Thursday. Friday night, we're going to cover Wyndham taking on St. John. That is St. John's homecoming game, correct, Sammy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we're going to try to get there. I don't know exactly what they're going to be doing. Usually a homecoming game, there's a little bit of a pageantry, as Tom would call it, that goes on prior to a game. But I don't know that they're going to be doing that. We will find out in the weeks coming up. What do you guys think? Should we do a little wins and losses this week?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so we'll let Tom go first. Lakeside versus Geneva. Who you got?
Man.
Well, no, pick your game of the week.
All right, my game of the week. My
Okay.
game of the week is Conneaut Edgewood. My game of the week is Conneaut Edgewood.
Okay.
Who's player of the game?
Player of the game is going to be Isaiah Harris. Isaiah Harris is going to be a player of the game. Edgewood's going to beat Conneaut 28-20, but Isaiah Harris is going to have 2 touchdowns in the air.
Ryan, what's your game pick of the week?
This is tough for me. It really is. I'm going to go Lakeside at Geneva.
Who's your player of the game?
Man, that's tough because I do like Tom's pick. We kind of talked about that earlier last week, but man, that's tough. Lakeside Geneva. Honestly, I'm gonna have to. I think Lakeside's gonna put some numbers up, and I think Savion. I don't think is gonna slice and dice them, but not Savion. Jay-Sean. I think Jay-Sean's gonna put up some big numbers. They rode him last week, and I think they're gonna do the same thing this week. But the other one it's really a kicker for me, and that's going to be Sean Allgood because he keeps coming into form slowly but surely. But I'm still going to go with Mr. Jay-Sean for Lakeside. Is going to be my player of the game.
All right. Nice. My game.
No offense to the Geneva Eagles, by the way, either. Remember, we love y'all equally. We love y'all equally.
My game of the week. My game of the week. My pick of the week.
Hold on, Sam. Yep, there you go. St. John.
Listen,
Wyndham.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the St. John Heralds over the Wyndham Bombers this week. St. John comes out for their homecoming. They're going to win this game by 10 points. David DeSalvatore is going to have 5 receptions for 155 yards. Seth Thomas is going to throw for 230 yards. St. John Heralds are going to beat the Wyndham Bombers 35.
That would be 21. You said by 10, but I guess
35-21. That's where I'm going with St. John Heralds over the Wyndham Bombers. Let's go ahead and pick our players of the week for the other games that we didn't talk about. All right. Tom, you didn't talk about Lakeside Geneva. Who's your player of the game that game?
All right. Lakeside Geneva. I think that Lakeside's actually going to win this game, and I think my player of the game for Lakeside is going to be Garrett Siebenek. I think Siebenek puts it all together this week. Siebenek has a big game. I bet he throws for 285 and 3 touchdowns. He's going to be my player of the game.
Man.
All right.
Always so tough.
Listen, this hurts my heart very, very
Why do we do this to ourselves?
Because this is what we do.
I just want to give everybody trophies. Don't do this.
Listen, you guys know I love you, and this hurts you more than it hurts me. The player of the game in the Lakeside Geneva game is going to be Brady Pete.
Ooh, that's not a bad pick.
It's going to be Brady Pete. Brady Pete has been flirting with player of the game honors for a couple weeks. Lakeside is going to key on Ben Scabona. They are going to key on Charlie Taylor. They have the size to put some hurts on those guys. Brady Pete is going to come out of there and I think he's going to have 2 touchdowns. I think he's going to rush for about $125.
All right.
That game, I can't wait to watch it because I think, honest to God, I think it's going to be way better than people think it is because Buzz Edwards ain't no punk, and neither are the Lakeside Dragons. Buzz, you know I love you, man.
Man.
So, Ryan, Wyndham versus St. John. What do you got? Who's your player? We're not picking winners. We're picking players.
I mean, it's going to be, I don't know. Yeah, Wyndham St. John. I'm going to have to go Mr. DeSalvatore. He's going to increase those receiving yards, averaging 31 yards a catch now, right, as we speak. So I'm going to say Mr. DeSalvatore for St. John will be the player of the game.
David DeSalvatore averages 30 yards a catch, 3 goals a game, and I'm pretty sure he places in the cross-country race.
Talk about a Swiss Army knife. Hey, listen.
Actually,
and he's working at the local soup kitchen on Saturday mornings too, boys. No, I don't know if he is, but it sounded good.
He's also a super great kid, so he deserves all that.
St. John Wyndham. I'm going to say my player of the game. I just to be honest, I think St. John's going to win, and I think my player of the game for that because he's healthy and he's back is going to be Davey Fuentes. I think Mr. Fuentes tears it up on the ground and tears it up in the air because the boy is a rushing and receiving threat, and I think you're going to see him back and healthy and doing the damn thing.
We shall see. All right, guys. We got more games. Are we doing all of them?
Yeah, we got 2 more.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, second.
Ryan was so ready to get out of here.
I am.
All right, Conneaut Edgewood. Who called their player of the game?
Oh, I did.
Okay, so Ryan, Conneaut Edgewood. Who's your player of the game?
I'm gonna go with. You know what? It's gonna be. Can I call the 2-headed monster the 7-Eleven 24/7?
You can't go 2.
I can. I mean, when you put it the way I just put it, I think I can.
It's
but
not
they're like a unit. It's like a package deal when you get them. Like I think when they both graduate, they're going to go to the same college and play football. Anyways, man, I'm going to go with Winchell against Conneaut. I think it's going to ride on him quite a bit. Conneaut seems to be putting up some good defensive numbers. So to break through and Conneaut to get this win, they're going to depend on him getting the ball with that air raid attack. And, Butchko not kicking field goals ever anyways, or the onside ever. I don't know how that one works out. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Winchell. I think he's going to be a big playmaker. Also, Winchell. I could talk forever about those guys. I love the Warriors. Good job last week, guys.
I am going to go with Isaiah Harris. Isaiah Harris is going to be the player of the game in that game. I think it's going to be a close game because I think Conneaut is so tough. Jake Slayton and Zach Rice are ready to have their big show off game. I just don't think it's going to be this week. I think it's going to be a hard fought game, but I think Isaiah Harris is going to have 3 touchdowns. And because let's not forget, and I know I'm dragging this out, but Isaiah Harris should have had a touchdown last week. They called it off, but he was clearly in. We saw it on video. So I'm going to go with Isaiah Harris, 3 touchdowns and 160 in the air.
That's a good stat line. I co-sign.
Yeah, on to the South County boys, PV and Fairport. Tom, go ahead.
I think PV's player of the game is going to be Mr. Jonah Wilkerson. God, I love these running backs, man. Jonah Wilkerson, going to run for 135 yards, 3 touchdowns. PV's just going to stay undefeated and keep rumbling.
Ryan?
I think PV takes their first loss this week. I don't know if that's what we're talking about. I think PV. I think 3-0 Fairport, 3-0 PV. No disrespect to PV, but I think Fairport comes in. I don't know how close it's going to be because honestly, I don't know too much. We only covered the one Fairport or a PV game, so I don't know a whole lot. I'm going to give myself, if PV does pull out the win, player of the game for them, honest goodness, and I know you said we can't pick more than one, so I'm going to say the offensive line because they're going to put up the blocks that needs to be put up to get the points on the board. So there you go.
All right. Well, the smart pick in this game, obviously, is to go with Tyler Bean because he is the maestro of that offense. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with their sack leader, Victor Verba, going to be the player of the game. He's got 2 sacks. He's going to make the difference on defense. I think he's going to get 1.5 more sacks this game, and I think he's going to be responsible for at least 7 tackles. PV moves on to 4-0 over Fairport Harbor this week.
Not a bad pick.
Now, the last but not least, my boys, them Falcon boys, South Range at Jefferson. I'm going to start this one off. My player of the game in this game is going to be Danny Bruckman. Danny Bruckman is going to make the difference in this game. I picked him last week. It didn't go through as I wanted to. He did put up 127. I think everybody is so worried about Grant Hitchcock, they're going to forget about that kid. I think Danny Bruckman is good for 135 yards, and he's going to get 2 touchdowns this week against South Range. South Range moves to 3-1. Jefferson moves to 1-3. First win of the year at home at Jefferson.
Okay. I co-sign. I think Jefferson's going to win their first game of the year, and I think my player of the game, I'm going to have to go with Grant Hitchcock. I think Hitchcock's going to have a big passing night. I think, like you said, Sam, it goes up every week for him, and I think this is the week that he fully breaks out under the tutelage of our friend, Mr. Brandon Hanna. No less than 235 yards in the air for him.
All right, Ryan.
Yep. So I am gonna take the Falcons this week. I want to thank Mr. Sergeant Brandon. I'm gonna chop that last name up, so I'm not gonna say it. But thank you for the little tidbit over there in the box. Let me put it up for the folks. I think I'm gonna throw another curveball because what it's gonna be, I think Rankin and the Falcons coaching staff is what's gonna pull these guys through. There's a lot of work that goes into this game coming up. 3-0 South Range versus 0-3 Jefferson. They need to get their first win on the board. But yeah, Rankin, Hannah, Henson, and the boys out there are going to be the play. We'll call them the coaches of the game because it's going to you're going to have to coach that game right to get that win.
Listen, I just looked at that now. I didn't realize that South Range had that kind of juice with 24-21 over Poland week 1, 56-28 over Girard week 2, and 35-7 over Niles McKinley.
And all you see when you watch that scoreboard, you see progression in South Range. You see more points, just getting better. To be honest, like I said, I kind of counted the first 2 weeks of the season as preseason games for these teams. I know wins are wins, losses are losses, but the first 2 weeks of this season was preseason. Now we're getting into the regular season. These next 4 games is what matters the most for these teams to pull through. Again, I recruited South Range is a beast down there. Yeah. So to pull through, you got to get the party started if you're going to roll into these playoffs and have a chance of making something happen. So,
yeah, and that's the best way to get it going.
Yep.
So, listen, everybody, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I can't wait to see everybody on Thursday for the Lakeside Geneva game. I'll get it right. There's only 7 options.
At the beautiful Spire Institute in downtown Geneva.
With a different view.
Different
Yeah,
view.
different view this
So
week.
we'll find out for sure. We might be up in the not the press boxes. We'll see though. You never know. We might not have to bring the tent. We'll just go that way. So
Heck yeah,
thank you
man.
guys all so much for joining in. Really appreciate it. It was a great weekend of football. Congratulations to the winners and losers out there. Keep trucking, man. You guys will get it. It can take a little bit of grind. So enjoy. We'll catch y'all tomorrow.
We'll see you
Thanks
guys
for
later. Have a
tuning
good
in, guys.
night.
I'm going to lead you guys out with Edgewood highlights because we had Bisbee, big play Bisbee as the player of the week.